Okay, welcome everyone. So everyone probably knows I'm Julie Bowditch. I work here at the medical school for the UMass Cancer Walk and Run currently, and this coming Sunday will be 4 weeks from the event, which is crazy. So we're getting really excited, and it's also crunch time. So we're glad you could join us today, and others may pop in and out, and that's fine. And if people need to leave for other meetings, we totally understand. I know a couple of people gave me a heads up. But just really quickly, I'll go around the circle and people can just introduce themselves and then we'll jump in. So Jen Brito is here with us today.
Hi, I'm Jen Brito. I'm the owner of 3 Clover Social Media Marketing, which is a business that I started 6 years ago, almost 6 years, in like 2 or 3 months, it'll be 6 years. So I'm just here to talk everything social media today.
Awesome, thanks, Jen. And Erin?
Hi, I'm Erin Phipps. I work with Julie in the advancement office at the medical school, and I manage mostly the sponsorships for the Cancer Walk.
Awesome. And Sarah?
There for Team Absolute, for the Absolute group of companies here in Worcester.
It's one of our champion business partners. Thanks, Sarah. And Ben, I know you told me how to say it before, but tell me one more time because I hate saying people's names wrong. Oh, you're on mute.
Mute. Ben Javan, Upati Singh. You can call me Dan.
Okay,
D-E-N,
Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. And your team, I know you've been with us before, but.
Oh, I'm with CITC. The team is CNT Cancer, right?
Awesome.
I think.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. And Christine as well. Christine, you're on mute. Let me see if I can. Great. Oh, I can't hear you. No. Can you hear us? Oh, okay. We can't hear you. But anyway, Christine Sugarman, and she's also on Team Let's TNT Cancer. And hopefully we can hear you. But if not, you can always use the chat feature if you wanted to say something and your audio isn't cooperating. So, so I know that Team TNT, Dan and Christine have to hop off for another meeting potentially. Is that still happening?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll let you guys start because if you had any questions or things you wanted to say, I wanted to give you a chance before you had to jump off.
Okay, did you have specific questions for us? You know, I know you wanted to know a little bit more about.
Yeah, I just know that your team is really going wild in the best possible way. And so I just didn't know if you wanted to share anything about how you're kind of like encouraging each other or motivating each other or working as a team or kind of like getting creative in the virtual world or really whatever you wanted to share, you know, about your team's sort of structure and so forth. Christine just added in the chat that she wanted to share she felt like her key to the success has been using Facebook. And I'm not surprised to hear that because I agree that social media, particularly right now, is the key. And luckily, Jen, who's with us today, that's why she's joined us because she is a social media expert. So I thought she could give us some general tips and answer any questions people had about social media and, you know, for this purpose. And Christine had said she reaches out on a weekly basis to update friends. And I agree that that is not too frequent at all, especially given the countdown is on. And oh, that's what I loved, Christine, that I knew you were sharing on Facebook. Christine is putting in the chat. So most of you probably can see it, but I'm just going to read it out loud for anyone who's watching later. Christine, I noticed on Facebook, has been walking a ton of miles. Christine, would you mind putting in the chat how many you've walked so far? So she's pledged to walk 2 miles every day for her supporters, you know, to just kind of, I guess, be able to say, you know what, I'm really putting in the effort. She's really going the extra mile, literally. And so she shared how cancer has touched her life personally. Oh, it's Rob, and you're right. Rob and Zico has walked over 300 miles, and she's one of your co-captains. Is that right, for your team? So you guys have like a pretty interesting model. I think it's cool that not only you're getting out there every day and, you know, kind of channeling your energy for the walk, but also it's something like tangible that you can share with your supporters and say, once again, I got out there today, or I'm up to this many miles. Christine said she'll be walking about 113 miles when she's all said and done. So that's a ton of miles. That's awesome. That's really a cool idea, I think, to engage people and kind of feel like you're really doing something together, even if you're not able to walk together, probably at least not every day. But oh, that's cool. Christine just said quite a few of her friends donated the amount to represent each mile. So that's really exciting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love that idea. But again, it's a way to like interact with people. That's not just like, hey, donate to me, but it's like, hey, I'm out here like doing, like working really hard, and just a reminder, that you're still at it. So I love that. Did you guys have questions for us at all, or anything else that you wanted to share, like about your team? I know everyone, Kristen and Christine and Matt and all of your teammates are equally motivated and equally, have had a lot of success. And I know you guys are kind of representing.
Well, I have something maybe I can share a little bit. So when I started the team, Christine filled up all the little recognition categories that you had up there for the team, like the most number of donors, highest number of donated amount, and most active, everything. And she kind of filled me in on her strategy. So I kind of follow suits, and I did post something on Facebook about, the link to and all of that. I didn't have that much success on there, but with my initial post. So I started just pinging people via different texting sites, not just regular texting, but I use Line, WhatsApp, and several other ones, but those are the main ones. And then just emailing some people that I know. And I do it in waves. I start out the first time just sending the link. And I notice whenever you're just sending an individual text to people, they tend to respond better. And so my approach, I didn't really have a strategy in the beginning, but I noticed that I put in the story about my sister had breast cancer, and I'm very high risk, and two of my relatives died of breast cancer. And so this is kind of like in their honor and for the future for myself too. And since I donated first into my page, I don't take the approach of, oh, please donate. I just say, would you be interested in joining me in donating? And also in our culture, so I have people, I contacted you before about releasing or opening up for overseas donations.
Glad you did
so
that.
In our culture back home, when you donate money or do good merits together, that's what we call it, we believe that when we reincarnate to our next life, you'll be born together. So I put in some of my later messages on text and in Facebook that, those who donate together will be friends forever, that kind of thing. And I noticed, what I did with those who donate, I also add them to my post in Facebook. So it actually goes onto their Facebook page if they accept it. And some people, even though they didn't donate, they forward it and they put it on their Facebook page. And I have people from Thailand, from Russia, from Singapore who donate. They would never get to use the UMass services, but they potentially, anybody working on cancer is a good cause. And somebody from Thailand had donated the most, $400.
Wow.
And I'm pretty amazed as the people who donate. Some people I haven't seen for 30 years, and they donated. And so I feel like and I notice every time I do another update on Facebook, people see it. People see other people who are doing it. It's kind of like a way to say, creating like a new social norm. The more they see people who donate, the more they want to donate, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It gets some momentum going, I think. And I loved everything you shared, both about your culture, which I think is really special and like very interesting and very cool. And also how you're able to engage people, kind of sharing others who have contributed. And like you said, inviting them to join you is a much softer and more, I guess, I don't say inviting, but way to approach it versus saying like, just give me money, saying like, this is something that matters to me. Can you join me? And I really love that approach. And also I loved what you said about acknowledging people, because people really enjoy a shout out, right? Like to say, these are all the people who have contributed and I wanted to name them and tag them. But also it's a smart strategy because like you said, then all of their friends are seeing it too. So it's kind of like a double pronged. You're giving them a nice shout out, but also now a bunch of people that maybe are second degree connections or third degree connections and so forth are now also seeing something. And I mean, cancer unfortunately has touched, I don't know anyone it hasn't touched. So, you know, I think it is compelling, and I think it's something that people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know about this, or, oh, maybe they knew, but they had forgotten. And, oh yeah, I had meant to do that. So I love that. And, you know, you never know, maybe someone who saw your post signs up a team or signs themselves up in their family too, you know, so this could exponentially be great outreach too. So I think, I mean, this is a perfect segue for a social media conversation, because this is like, you guys have so many good ideas. Christine, I know she's still not having trouble with her audio, but she had just mentioned that she loves the idea as well of a shout out on Facebook. Great idea by Den. And Christine said she's an avid gardener and she shares vegetables from her gardens with her neighbors. So the weekend of the walk, she's going to do, oh, I love this, a plant and vegetable table giveaway, and hang a sheet with tabs that can be removed with a URL to her classy, fundraising page. And her slogan is, my veggies and plants are free, but cancer research is not.
Ah,
Brilliant.
that's great. Hey,
I
I'm going to
love
do
it.
that too, Christine.
I love this. So she said, and please consider if able to donate. So, you know, she's giving her veggies away, but with a little plug. And it's so creative and it's so personal and it's so clever. She said, Dan, you can do it too. I love that. My veggies and plants are free, but cancer research is not. And to Den's point earlier, she has friends internationally and many others may as well, but the cancer research at UMass has a global impact. You know, anything that's discovered here, just like any other science, you know, it can impact globally. So really, you know, it's not like, yes, they may not come to UMass for their care, but anything, you know, any research here could impact every corner of the world ultimately, you know. Yeah, please, then.
Okay, I have one last little bit.
Please.
You know, I look at the ranking, like the overall, just not the team, but individual.
Mhm.
And so initially, you know, I wasn't anywhere up there, but then I started gaining momentum. And then I go, wow, I'm third. And then Matt, you know, Matt is on our team too, and he's the second one. So I keep every time I post on Facebook, I go back and I update almost daily. As soon as I get a new donor, I update my total, my team total. And then I said, I'm second place. I'm only this much away from, I'm sorry, I'm third place. I'm only this much away from my second place. And people feel like, I think it's fun. They're like, oh, well, I'm going to help you get to second place. And then the person who helped me actually bump me up to second was really proud. All right, do you have that much left? I'm going to donate exactly that so you can be second place. And I was there just for like 2 days before Matt found out. And then, you know, off he went, like got another $600-700.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, first of all, it's cool that it's your teammate that you're competing with, right? Because it's extra competition. You guys are both on fire. But I love that you're kind of, you know, creating this competitive, you know, nature for your supporters, and they want to see you, you know, in first place. That's so awesome. I think, you know, for us, competition is a big part of it, right? Because, you know, not only do you want to see your team or your page like on the leaderboard, but, you know, I think it's also fun to either compete with your teammates or compete with other teams. And I know Sarah can probably talk about like some of the business competitions that we've done. But it does, you know, drive, I think, people to kind of like push to the next level or whatever it might be. But like you said, your supporters who maybe don't have like a horse in the race, but they're on Team Den. So they're like, we want to see you do great. Christine, thank you so much. She just said she has to jump off, and good luck to everyone. And we really appreciate you being here. So thank you so much. And
me too. Bye.
Okay. Bye, ladies. Thank you so much. Some really good ideas. I'm throwing in the chat. Actually, I don't know if it's still the right link. I'm actually going to turn it over to Jen because I know that she also has, she's on double duty. She's working and being a mom right now, which I know a lot of us can relate to currently. But I'm throwing in the chat a link that I'll talk a little bit about after, just in case anyone wants to save it. But I'm going to let Jen throw some tips out there, and then I'll circle back with just a few like housekeeping things. And, Sarah may have some things to add or questions for Jen or whatever too.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, a lot of good stuff there. One thing that before I go like on my like a little checklist of things I wanted to cover today, one thing that I think was really well spoken to in the conversation is that as research shows and studies have shown that if you ask somebody something personally like to do, that they're more apt to respond than if you put out a giant blanket statement of like, okay, well, donate to my page, here's my page. But if you address people individually, it has a lot higher of a conversion rate of getting people to actually act. In the industry, CTA, call to action, whenever you post something, you want to make sure that you have a call to action. So just posting your link is great, but put a call to action, something like what Den said about, I'm only this far away, can you help me? Because also just inherently in us, we are programmed to want to help other people, to help people succeed. It's a good thing. And especially on social media right now, there's a lot of negativity. So if there's anything that people are looking for right now, it's positivity. It's seeing people do something to make a change and not just, sit back and complain and gripe about the state of our world. So those are all really great points that I think are valid and ones that are worth implementing in any sort of social media strategy. So with that being said, social media is, we'll talk about Facebook primarily because I found that's really where you can gain the best traction when it comes to fundraising. There's an algorithm. So an algorithm is just a fancy word. Most people know, but I've come across people who have no clue what I'm talking about. So that's why I like to spell it out. But it's a fancy word for just how they decide what appears on your newsfeed. So when you post something, generally speaking, it has about a 4-hour lifespan, meaning that if nobody interacts with it, it will still show up on people's news feeds for the next 4 hours. This can change though. This can change based on how many people comment on it, how many shares it gets, how many people interact with the post. So that's why it's really good. And I know, like, I've seen Julie implement this strategy. If you put out a post, just ask people to, send out a text, hey, can you just comment? Can you just share this? Because it'll kind of give what's called like if you think of Super Mario Brothers, like a 1-up, it gives you that extra life for the post to continue. With that said, best time to post I have found is early in the morning, because what is the first thing that most of us do? We pick up our phones and we check to see what happened while we were sleeping. Yes. How many text messages will you have from the night before? And then right about the time, when things start to settle down, right after dinner, and you also want to think about your ideal demographic. If you're talking about stay-at-home moms, you want to hit the morning before the kids get up, nap time, and after dinner, after the kids go to bed. If you're talking about, say, a young socialite, you might want to do a little bit later in the morning, and then later at night. And remember that 4-hour window. Another great thing to implement is to share into groups. Oh, and then one other thing, back to the algorithm. Not everyone is going to see what you post. That's something that that's a myth that a lot of people are like, I don't want to post too much. You really can't. So based on your post, and again, there are a lot of variables, but a general rule is, if, say you have 100 friends and you have one person like your post, I think it's like 3 of their friends will see that post. Now, say that you have a friend who comments on your post, or even, does more than a like, does a heart, or, a care emoji. That person, then I think it's like 5 people will see. And that's just a vague number, because it does change based on other factors too. But if somebody comments or shares, it goes up. So, you know, you have 7 out of, you know, their 10 friends who are going to see it. So it adds in a lot of reach for it. And then let me see, what else did I want to touch on? I think that's just about it. So I guess we can open up to questions and answers, or I can keep going, whatever fits.
Yes, Sarah, do you have anything to add or questions for Jen? I know I have a couple.
No, Jen, I that was very helpful, especially your points on the algorithm and the timing. You know, sometimes people may not even consider that. So that was a really good point.
It is a good point, because I think it is like natural to feel like you're over posting or like,
Right.
you know, but I think that is a good point, because you can't assume everyone that you're connected with definitely did not see whatever the post was. So you're really not annoying them.
No,
Right.
no.
Yeah, so that is a really good point. I know, Jen, I was wondering if you could share, a lot of people ask me about how to share on sites different than Facebook. Like Facebook, I think a lot of us, at least in our demographic, are relatively comfortable with. You know, you copy the link, you paste it into your page. It's great. It shows a little preview. You can write something, you know, people can interact with it. But I know a lot of people, particularly Instagram, people have been struggling with how, since you can't post links, how can you get your message out or the word out if you know, use Instagram as one of your primary social medias? You know, I know you can put a link in a bio, but I know not everyone's comfortable with that. And I think maybe there are some other tricks or ideas.
So with Instagram, the big thing is the image. You want to get an image that's going to talk to people. Stock photos, if that's what you have available to you. But social media, I think a lot of times people forget the social aspect. You know, you want to connect with people. So you want to put something out there that's going to connect with them. If they're your friends, then you want to put up an image of maybe you lacing up your sneakers and being like, going back out there again, hitting the pavement and, you know, raising money. And then putting the text into the the link into the text portion below. You can also tag people so that people can see, you know, because the thing is with Instagram, it's not the same as Facebook, where you show up on people's feeds based on, you know, if they comment like that, you get more of a reach that way. So that's something that you can do for Instagram. So it's generally around that. There are a lot of creative ideas out there that, you know, you can certainly implement. And then if you're talking about, like, if you created an Instagram page for your team, just constantly putting that link out there, you know, putting it in your bio, that's an option. Something else that you can look at, it's so it's called Linktree, but it's like LINK_TREE, I think it is. So that's a free site that you can use where you can put multiple links. So you're not bombarding your bio with a whole bunch of links, but there's one link that will lead them to others, and you can kind of design it yourself too. You can pick your colors, you know, you can have it linked back to your Facebook page, if you have one specifically for your team, or to the donor page, or, you know, any sort of links that you would want to have. So that's a good tool that I've used quite a bit and actually enjoy.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And actually, we use Linktree for the Cancer Walk, thanks to Jen's recommendation. It's been a really great tool. Jen, would you talk for just maybe a minute about stories and, you know, how you feel about whether that's a good way to interact with people or to share information?
Yeah, so stories is great both on Facebook and on Instagram. So the benefit of having the stories is that shows up. So you already kind of get a one up on anybody else on the feed, because it's going to show up based on how recently you posted it. So it does kind of go down the timeline. So I'm just visualizing it. So that's why this is happening right now. And, you know, use emojis, use links, use GIFs, use anything that is going to be able to draw people in. Don't go overboard, but make it personable. If there's one thing that I hope that everybody leaves with today, is make this your own story. You know, make this about, bring the people along, because the people who donate are going to be motivated and feel more involved as if they're part of the team if they're watching you virtually. You know, that's why we follow celebrities on social media, because we want to be involved. We want to be behind the scenes, you know, and the people that are donating, they're friends and family and community members. You know, they want to help make them part of the team by involving them, you know, post, okay, you know, this is what I'm drinking, you know, my smoothie for the morning to get me energized and ready to go, lacing up my shoes. You know, you can use that for stories as well, is to give a legit story of your day, of how you're preparing for this. Okay, just, you know, hit, oh my gosh, so-and-so, shout out, thank you so much for donating. I think it's kind of up in the air if you want to say how much people donated, because the competitive nature, you can definitely pull out some others, but you can also kind of like, ooh, you know, if that's how much people are donating, I don't have enough to donate. And I also don't want to publicize that I only donated 20 when somebody else donated 500. So it's kind of up in the air on that one. That's a tricky one. But definitely giving shout outs, you know, throughout the day, and using any sort of video apps. Those are always fun to do. You know, you got boomerangs, you know, you got gifts that you can create. So yeah, those are some things that you can do with stories.
Yeah, I love these ideas. Thank you so much, Jen. I think like social media has always been a big deal, right, for an event like this, but especially this year because, you know, we're all online all the time pretty much. And a lot of us aren't getting together the way that we used to be able to. So, you know, I know a lot of teams have shared with me, like we used to do, you know, an event at a bar or a restaurant or our home or a hall or whatever. And that would be like our primary fundraiser. So I know people are really having to get creative. So I know, you know, we're always happy to promote, and some of you may see, but some teams have gotten really creative, doing cash calendar, doing a pampered chef party, doing a raffle, all sorts of things. And we're always happy to help push that out. Not only does it hopefully help drive more support to your teams, but also hopefully gives other teams ideas like, oh, wait a minute, we could also do something similar, you know. But you know, the good news is that, Sarah, I think you might be the one who said it originally, but like this event's always been virtual, right? For fundraising.
Yeah.
It's always been crowdfunded. It's always been an online platform. And so for the next 4 weeks, theoretically, it shouldn't look too much different for people. Now, of course, there is the question of approaching people, you know, in the economic climate. And I know that people have expressed concerns about that, but my response has always been the same, which is, they won't donate if you don't ask. And while some people may be struggling, others are frankly thriving, because different industries and individuals have obviously been affected very differently. So I don't think it's pushy to ask. You're not asking. I always tell people you're not asking for money for your vacation fund. You're not like as if we can go on vacation. You're not asking for, you know, you're not asking for any type of personal contribution. You're asking for them to help, you know, change lives. So really, I like to say that it's not even an ask, it's just an invitation. Like I loved what Jen said, to join you in something that I think everyone cares about. So luckily it's not a tough ask in that way. It's just about like, you know, being comfortable approaching it. And I think that type of thing. Yeah, thank you so much, Jen. I know that everyone has a different comfort level on social media, and some people are loving it and others are like nervous about it or, you know, unsure, but I would say almost everyone is dabbling in it. So even if you don't have people posting, they might be still looking at your post. So I think that's important because it is a, you know, and months ago, I think it might've been, I can't remember if it was a webinar or something. I think Erin might've even been on it with me, but early in this whole pandemic, and they had said, you know, just communicate with everyone in a bunch of different ways because everyone receives information differently.
Yes.
So somebody might be watching Instagram all day. Someone else might just be looking to their email inbox. Other people, you know, might be looking for a text message. So I think it's going to depend a lot on just the way people receive information and the whole idea of reminders, you know. And I do think the next 4 weeks we'll see such, you know, such a uptick in, you know, engagement and stuff because it is fresh on people's minds. And it's tough in like April and May to be like, oh, in September we're doing this. Oh, great. Well, get back to me in August. Well, it's August. So we're back. So, you know, I think it's definitely, the timing is prime. And I think it will get even more and more crazy, again, in a good way, as the countdown goes along. Jen, did you have anything else you wanted to add, or did anyone else have questions for Jen specific to any platforms or, specific things that trip us up or whatever? You're welcome to stay, Jen, by the way, if people, once we're done with social media, but I don't expect you to either. So I'll leave it up to you, but I wanted to see if anyone else had anything to either add or ask.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk social media all day, so
You
I'm
and
not going to open up that
Facebook.
can of worms because we'll be here a while.
Well, I'll be sure to mention your company on when we post this video later too.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
maybe if people have questions, I can always loop you back in if there's something that's out of my league.
Yeah. Just send me a message on Facebook, or you can email me. That works too. So I usually get back pretty quickly. So within 24 hours, you'll hear from me.
Thanks so much, Jen.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jen.
Thank you. I'm just going to, we don't need to take up the whole hour if we don't need it, but I was just going to quickly run through I know a couple of teams. So we have a few teams that, one woman, I know she runs an in-home daycare. So the middle of the day is tough for her, and other, team leaders who have small kids at home. So there's like no way. And then a couple of people that were trying to join today actually had a meeting conflict. So I just wanted to run through, as long as you guys don't mind, just super quickly. And actually a couple of things might be new to you, Sarah, too.
Okay.
Although, did you get an email earlier from the
I
law?
did.
Oh,
Yes.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
So they may not be new then, but we have some things that some people have heard about before and others that might be a little bit new, but the Facebook profile frames are, I know, really popular. And we have a whole bunch of options for them. We have team leader, team member, we have survivor, and then we have some more like general ones that are just like virtual 2020. And so those are cool. So they're up, and you can, if anyone has trouble with that, you can either just Google like changing your Facebook profile, or I think there was a link in that email as well that should be helpful. And then same with the Zoom backgrounds, the one that I have up, and then I think we have one that's like the other side. People have preferences, and those are on our website, which was hyperlinked on that email. So I'll share that as well. And then our August contest, just a reminder, it's a team contest. So for every $1,000 your team raises through the end of August, you'll be entered into a drawing. And this one is bananas. It's worth well over $1,500. And all local businesses that contributed to it, but there's like a Kona shaved ice party that's involved. There's a local photographer that will come and photograph either your team or your family, however you want to do it, your colleagues, whatever you choose, which is awesome. And then a whole bunch of other gift cards and goodies. So it's really, really good. And a lot of teams I know are gunning for it. So that's fun. Face masks have started to go out in the mail. So did you get yours, Sarah?
Yes, I did.
Good. Okay, good. I am biased, but it really is my favorite face mask. It's really soft.
It really is.
It's super comfortable. Good. Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, it's good. So those are going to every team leader who has any active fundraising on, their team at all. So it could be $5, but so there's only 100. So a bunch have gone out, and we have a few left to go. So hopefully some teams will get in on the party. And similarly with shirts, those are not team related, but they're any individual who raises $100 or more will receive a shirt, and they're extra nice this year. We upgraded to like a super tri-blend, super soft material. So all of our shirts have been awesome, but this is going to be a really extra soft one, and I think super wearable. So usually, we have like the run shirt and the walk shirt and stuff. So instead we decided we'll just go with one super nice, high quality shirt for everybody. So anyone who raises $100 or more. And then, in September 2nd, so look for some information. This was not in the email, so this actually, you are the first now. We're having a virtual pasta making class with Volturno. So that will be fun. Yeah, September 2nd, it's a Wednesday night, so there will be obviously a link and everything going around, but so you can purchase a ticket, and gets you the Facebook Live, and you go to Volturno and pick up a little pasta kit, and it has the dough and it has wine and directions.
That's really cool.
Yeah, Erin and I did one back early in the spring, and it was so fun. In fact, I still have pasta in my freezer from that. It was so much food. It was so fun. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. And then other than that, I just wanted to, even though it was kind of for Team TNT, but I know other members of their team were planning to watch back later. So Erin, do you mind just covering the matching gift thing one more time?
Yeah.
For people who missed it
Absolutely.
last week, just kind of the lowdown.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of companies do offer the benefit of matching charitable donations that their employers make to any kind of charitable nonprofit. And so when you're asking your potential donors to give, you could also mention that if they just ask their human resources or their benefits office if they're a matching gift company, it could get double the dollars donated to the Cancer Walk, with just usually a simple form to fill out. Usually it's not too much heavy lifting, and really it's usually just a quick ask. And so we're working on getting it more streamlined on our website, but it's probably something that won't be totally in place for this year, but we did put a mention of it. So when somebody is going through the process to check out and make a gift online, there is a note about if you work for a matching gift company, reach out to us and we can walk you through the process to kind of get that gift matched. And it's just kind of another way that we're hoping to capture some extra dollars, and we can take it from there if you just start mentioning it to your teams, to your potential donors. And it's just trying not to leave any dollars on the table this year.
Yeah, totally. And I think it is like the best kept secret of some corporations.
It really is.
Obviously it's mostly larger corporations, but if you happen to know, like my aunt who works for Verizon always donates, a few $100 or something like that every year, then it's worth saying. I have said to people before, I believe your company participates in matching gifts, so you may want to, and sometimes you can even do a quick Google or something and say, you may want to check in with your benefits department. But and people are usually like, really? So, but it's, like Erin said, it's actually super easy on the employee's side. And our office actually takes care of the majority of the paperwork with their benefits group or whoever handles that. So it's a very light lift on the part of the donor themselves, the employee. Thanks.
Exactly.
I just wanted to, I don't want that to like go out of people's minds. And then Den had actually sent me an email this morning saying, oh, we were wondering about that. And so anyway, I think it's always worth, talking.
Yeah.
Sarah, how are things going with your team?
We're doing well. I was getting a head count so I can make our team t-shirts, and we've got about, I think, 68 people and then 6 toddlers. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I think everybody seems to, still be on board this year, and everybody was excited about it. I was able to answer their questions easily about, it being a virtual event and, your pace, your place, so everybody seems to be very excited about it.
That's awesome. Wow. What a great turnout. Do you guys, do you get new shirts every year, or do you?
We do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. People that have been doing it with us since the beginnings. I'll see if I can track it down, but they actually made a blanket of all of our different shirts, and
oh my god,
do like different colors and stuff like that, and like
if you can,
the shirts are kind of coveted. Yeah,
that's so cool. You have to send me a picture if you can find it.
I think one of the owners has it.
I would love to share it. That's such a cool idea.
It's pretty neat. So everybody, they have like their little stash at home of all the shirts, and we put the year on the back so you remember what year.
That's awesome. That's sort of like
that's really awesome.
Like team building thing too. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, if you need any help with your shirt design, you probably don't, because since you've been doing it for years, but Northeast has been helping us with our shirts, and our merchandise store they actually run too, and they've been phenomenal to work with. I cannot say. In fact, they made our masks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they've been so amazing, and they're offering free design to anyone
Okay.
who, any teams who, you know, want to order through them, but their pricing is really reasonable. And they're right in Leominster too. So
Oh,
they
very
usually like
easy.
even hand
Cool.
deliver.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So if you need like a quick turnaround or anything like that, but anyway, just a shameless plug for,
Yeah.
for our supporters. Wow, that's awesome that you guys have so many people. It doesn't
Yeah.
hurt that the weather's been awesome too this summer.
I
mean,
know, it really has.
Team TNT, what a cool idea by them to like, you know,
Yeah.
be putting in the miles. And I saw
know, that is
something
really
on Robin's Facebook. She must have tagged the event because you know, I wouldn't have seen it otherwise, but she was like, I'm walking my 200th or whatever, some crazy number of miles. And I'm like, this is great.
That's a lot. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so smart. But yeah, everyone's been so creative, and you know, it's like it's funny because Erin and I, we had a staff meeting yesterday, and everyone was saying like it's actually, even though we were kind of bummed / nervous, you know, back in March, April, and now we're kind of like jazzed because we're like, there's all these new things we're doing, and we can still do them next year, even if we can be back together.
Right, yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and we've gotten to like talk to people like you more than we probably would have. And
I know that. I was thinking that too. I'm like, it's cool to be involved in, you know, in on the countdown and things like that. So it's cool.
well, it's cool for us because
We
we
agree.
love having you. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have anything that you think, you know, you'd like to see or your team's asking about or anything, don't be shy because
Okay.
we're always looking for you know, ways to shout people out or to, you know, help make it easier for them. And
Yeah,
so
definitely.
yeah,
Thank you.
anything, just let us know for sure.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's awesome to see you again.
You.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you know my email, so I won't, I don't need to give it to you again, but anytime, you know, we'll probably do one more of these. I'm thinking in 2 weeks again. I think it's the 28th of August.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably, unless anyone asks for one, we'll probably take the beginning of September off just because it's getting wild.
Yeah. I'm sure
Oh,
you guys will
that's
be
the
busy.
other thing. The Walk Week Challenges is new this year.
Oh yeah, I know, that'll be interesting to see. What
Yeah,
that's all
so
about.
we'll be sending that around soon, but it will be from September 6th, that Sunday prior, all the way through the 12th.
Yeah.
And one thing every day that we're just gonna, you know, we'll tell people obviously ahead of time and stuff. So
Right. Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be fun. Sort of like the final countdown. And
yeah,
get everybody
Exactly.
hyped up and yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so it'll be like a lot of fun things that people can like take pictures of themselves doing or whatever if they want to. They can do them on their own or with their team or their family. So yeah. So stay tuned. Oh, well, thank you so much. Sorry about the link switch up, but I'm glad you got through.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let me know if you need anything. But otherwise we'll talk soon for sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
All right.
Thanks. No
Thanks,
problem.
Sarah.
Bye.
All right.
Bye. Have a
Bye.
good day.